Weapon safety is an everyday concern and must be taken very seriously. Here to inform us is one of HHC's platoon sergeants, Staff Sergeant Jim Kazakaitis.
Good morning, my name's Staff Sergeant Jim Kazakaitis. It's my assistant, Sergeant Jomo Fields. This morning we're going to be talking about weapon safety. We're going to talk about clearing this weapon, all right? First thing we're going to do, whenever we clear a weapon, come in off patrol, place the weapon on safe. All right, Sergeant Fields' weapon is on safe. All right, he's going to point the weapon in a safe direction, making sure that he's not flagging any of his buddies. He's got proper muzzle awareness. Next thing he's going to do, he's going to drop the magazine. All right, once the magazine's dropped, Sergeant Fields is going to pull his charging handle to the rear. He's going to get a leader, always an NCO or an officer, to visually inspect the chamber to ensure that there is no round in the chamber. The weapon is clear. Go ahead and release the bolt to the forward. All right, once his bolt is back forward, keeping the weapon in a safe direction, he's going to place the weapon on fire. He's going to pull the trigger. He's going to pull the charging handle to the rear again. Release the charging handle and place the weapon on safe. All right, normally this should be done in a clearing barrel. For our purposes, if you don't have a clearing barrel, just ensure that the weapon is always pointed in a safe direction. And leaders, remember, we don't check our own weapons. Always make sure a buddy checks your weapon as well. I'm Staff Sergeant Jim Kazakaitis, and this has been your look at weapon safety.
You ain't kidding, Sergeant. Weapon safety is something that needs to be practiced every day. Now, every company has its heroes, and HHC is no exception. Here's this episode's Hero of the Day. Forget about it.
My name is Shane Hazard. I'm a corporal in the United States Army. I'm with the Scout Platoon in the 1st and 502nd. I serve as a assistant squad leader in Team 2. A typical guard day, depending on what shift you get, you know, you're getting up and pulling usually like 3 hours in the guard tower. And then on patrol days, you're usually getting up, you know, anywhere from 03 to 09, and usually go out on about a 4 or 5 hour patrol to do key leader engagements and to try to help the local populace. What happened was it was around 1700. There was a limited visibility, a dust storm, and I was in the gym and I heard a lot of commotion. That's when I looked outside the gym and I seen guys running down the hallway. We found out that we were being engaged by an unknown number of Taliban from the north and northwest. We all kitted up real quick, and the guys that were in the gym and not pulling guard ran to our battle positions. I ran to the roof. You could roughly see enemy combatants out there to the northwest at about 300 meters. All these sandbags weren't here at the time because we just moved into the cops. We hadn't made too much improvements. So all that was here at the time was this concrete wall. And I started engaging targets. I got help from Corporal Pollock, which was in the ITAS tower. He had thermals binoculars, and he helped me walk me in on the targets. I roughly expended about 17 to 2203 rounds that day. Make sure you have positive identification of the target, because there's a lot of civilians that are running out there, so make sure when you're shooting somebody, it's the bad guy.
Way to go, Corporal Hazard. There's only one word that describes people like him. Oofa. Now, being far away from home for this long can really have its effects. Here to guide us with some words of wisdom is Chaplain David Beavers.
Hello, I'm Chaplain David Beavers, and I'd like to take a few moments to talk with you in regard to feelings that you or your strike soldier may be having at this point in our deployment. When we initially left Fort Campbell, some of the feelings that you might have been going through would be the uncertainty of being apart from the one that you care about, maybe a degree of excitement looking forward to the mission that lay ahead, or for some of the strike soldiers that were going to receive gifts when the soldier deployed, and excitement about the gift that they were about to go pick up. Other feelings might have been a bit of grief, a little bit of concern, a sense of loss, of the closeness of being right there with that person you care about. Well, as time progresses and we go from days to weeks and moving on into months of being apart from those that we care about, we realize some of our feelings adjust as well. We develop new patterns and new norms of how we operate and how we do things. Part of these feelings, though, that arise at this point might be a concern for the safety of those that you care about. As many times we hear reports on the news, or we're concerned and something here in Afghanistan that may be 500 miles away, to those folks at home that are watching it or reading about it They might think it's right next door. Part of the other concerns you might be feeling is an uncertainty of how you should be acting or how you should be feeling at this point because acceptance has come in. The acceptance that you're going to be apart from that person you care about and the realization you have to move on and go on with life while you have that distance. A way to prevent some of these feelings of feeling disconnected with that person you love is staying connected, whether it be through snail mail or emails or phone conversations or any other forms of communication you might have with that person you care about. What we often run into, though, as well, is the realization that sometimes our feelings or emotions cause us a bit of, well, difficulty. Might make it a little bit hard some days to get off the couch or to get up out of bed. Maybe it's hard to function because we're so wondering about what's going on with that person we care about. In and of themselves, emotions and feelings are neither good nor bad. But when they start affecting how we operate, how we function, how we get along with our daily lives, that's where they can sometimes cause a problem. If you're having any difficulty whatsoever, do not hesitate to get in touch with your unit chaplain, the rear detachment chaplain, or any medical personnel who will be able to help. We thank you for your support and what you're doing, whether you're a strike soldier or you support the strike brigade. Thank you for all you're doing, and thank you for your time and attention.
Right, sir. Great information, and it behooves us all to use it. Now, this brigade takes great pride in its history. Staff Sergeant James Hunter knows exactly what I'm talking about.
We take a look into the history of the brigade during World War II. Sergeant William Carberry served with Echo Company of the 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment. On January 3, 1945, his company found themselves engaged in combat operations against enemy forces near Longshakes, Belgium. Enemy tank and infantry forces attacked the unit. Sergeant Carberry acted as a forward observer, directing fire onto the enemy for 36 straight hours. The gallant action of Sergeant Carberry caused heavy damage to the enemy troops and their equipment. His devotion to duty cost him his life, and he was posthumously awarded the Distinguished Service Cross. Sergeant Carberry will forever be remembered for his actions that day and for the lives he saved.
You ain't kidding, Staff Sergeant Hunter. The brigade is deep in both history and tradition, and plans to keep it going right here in Afghanistan. Now, as you can plainly see, the 2nd Brigade Combat Team is doing its part in Operation Enduring Freedom, and will continue to do so throughout its deployment. Much respect to 1st Strike's HHC for letting us out here at Cop Ashake and telling their stories. And hey, thanks for checking us out, and thanks for all that you do. And remember, we are strike soldiers. I'm Specialist Joe Padula with the 2nd Brigade Public Affairs Office, and I'll talk to you later. Absolutely.